Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a short little care guide for bearded dragons. Um, as you can see, this is my bearded dragon. This is Ziggy. She is a year old. So from what I have learned for the year that I have had her, is bearded dragons are not beginner animals, and I will repeat that. They are not beginner animals. A lot of people say that they are, but they're not. Um, since I have had Ziggy, I have noticed things, and she is kind of difficult, to be honest. Um, I did actually buy her from PetSmart. I'm not gonna lie, I did actually buy her from PetSmart. And to be honest, that was the dumbest thing that I had ever done. I kind of wish now that when I decided to get a bearded dragon, I kind of wish that I would have stayed away from PetSmart and Petco and would have bought her online. Um, because I have had problems with her since she was about 7 or 8 months old. I had started noticing different things going on with her. Her health has not really been all that great. Um, I have took her to the vet like twice, and the vet that I have took her to really does not know, to me, does not really seem like they know a whole lot about a bearded dragon. They did actually give me some medicine to treat her for parasites. I had to do that, and it did seem to help her and perk her up for about a week. And then after the medicines were done and over, she started going right back into not wanting to eat or not wanting to bask or anything like that. So I would highly recommend, do not buy your animals or reptiles or any type animal from PetSmart or Petco. Um, but the things that I wanted to talk about in this video are basically some bearded dragon care that I have learned in the year that I have had her. As right now, she is actually in a 50-gallon enclosure. I am planning on in the future to upgrade her enclosure, and I'm going to be getting the 4x2x2. Um, so I will be doing that and moving her into that eventually. I just, right now, I don't have the money for it, and I'm trying to save up a little bit of money for it because the enclosures, they are very, very expensive. Have I did read that when they're about 12 months old, that females do start trying to want to breed, and it is a good option to have a lay box in their cage just in case they are trying to form eggs. She has never been bred. There's never been no male present, so her eggs will not be fertile. They will be unfertile. Um, and to be honest, I really did not know before I got a bearded dragon that they could actually lay eggs even without a male being present. Um, but I did do a whole lot of research about bearded dragons, and I did find out a whole lot of information about them. And I did find out that bearded dragons, they can actually live in captivity for 10 to 15 years, and they can possibly live a little bit longer than that. It just depends on their care, their lights, and their diet. Um, a bearded dragon, they do have to have a basking area, they have to have a warm area, and then a cool area. As you can see, Ziggy right now is on the cool side. She has been, right now, she has been in and out of brumation since about December the 1st. She's kind of been in and out of it. She will get up, move around, and do stuff like that. But right now, she is not eating. She is not using the bathroom like normal. And I mean, I'm just kind of figuring it's kind of from the brumation. But if she's not getting no better, I will be taking her to the vet again to see if there's something else possibly that could be wrong with her. I am planning on actually getting her another basking area. As you can see right now, it's just a little basking platform that I have had for her. But I am planning on getting like some slate rocks and trying to make her like a little cave up under it, and then an area where she can get up on and bask. Lights situation is they need a basking light, they need UVB, and they can have a heat source for at nighttime if it's cold. As for right now, it is cold at night, but it's hot during the day. So at nighttime, I do actually turn on a heat lamp for her, which is the ceramic heat emitter. It does at least get her temperatures on the cooler side to at least about up to 80 something. Um, it is highly recommended that you get a temperature gun, so you can actually go through the enclosure and check all of your temperatures and make sure all of your temperatures are correct. If not, you do need to do some type of adjustment and try to make them where they are a whole lot better. Um, and as for right now, mine is actually saying 97 and the humidity is 23%. A bearded dragon's humidity needs to be anywhere between 20 to 40%. It can go a little bit higher than 40, but not recommended to go up past 50. Um, for the UVB that I use for her, I use the Pro T5 Arcadia, the 12%. You can use the 14%. It does not really matter. The Arcadia lights, they actually last a whole lot longer than like the Repti-Sun. The Repti-Sun lights, you do have to change them out every 6 months. A Arcadia is about once a year. So Ziggy probably is actually due for a light upgrade. And her basking light is a, I cannot remember what exactly the name brand of it is, but the wattage that I'm using for her is 150 watt. And I am using a 25 watt halogen mini dome. And that does actually get her temperatures up a little bit more. And I will actually move her heat emitter over to where her basking area is, and that does actually help getting the temperature up a little bit more. It does get it up to like 100 and 111, 112. So that is perfect temperature for your bearded dragon. You do need some sort of substrate. As for mine, I am using floor, I think it's like the sticky floor that you put down. You just take the paper off the back of it and you can just measure it to fit it into your enclosure. And it does make a really good floor, but if you choose not to use something like this, you can use like shelf liners, paper towels, and tile, but the tile you will have to get cut to fit perfectly into your enclosure. Um, for the paper towels, that is basically for like when you first get your bearded dragon. If you were checking for health issues, bowel movements, and they're eating, it does actually help, and it does make the cleanup a whole lot easier. I did put her on paper towels when I first got her when she was a baby, but after about 2 weeks of, making sure everything was good and she was healthy at the time, I did switch her to a shelf liner, and I used the shelf liner for quite a while, and then I switched her to what she has in her cage now, which is just floor like that, like you would put in your house pretty much. And you can also use a loose substrate if you are wanting to do that. You need to do organic topsoil and children's play sand. You mix them 50-50, and you do actually need to bake the topsoil and the sand to make sure that you get all of it, and go through it and sift it to make sure there's no debris in it and no plastic, because sometimes the topsoil can have actually little bits of plastic in it. So you do want to make sure that you do take that out and you clean all that up. And then after you bake it for like 45 to an hour, you can actually add it into their enclosure. But just make sure you mix it real good and then put it in here. Eventually, probably when I upgrade her enclosure, I probably will try to do like the loose substrate, and see if that gives her any more enrichment, because right now, she's not really that active. So I do want to try to put like something different in here, try to change her enclosure up a little bit. So I think I will be trying that in the future. And the one substrate that you do not want to use is the calci sand. A lot of problems and issues with using the calci sand. It can cause your bearded dragon to go into impaction, which is meaning that if they eat any of the sand and it goes into their stomach, they will not be able to digest it. And so that means they will not be able to go to the bathroom. And if that does happen, you can try to treat it here at home. Or if none of that at home is working, you will have to take your bearded dragon to a vet. I would recommend giving them a warm soak and letting them sit in it for probably about 20 to 25 minutes and just letting them soak. And eventually, they will possibly try to use the bathroom in the water. If that is not working and your bearded dragon is still not using the bathroom correctly, you can baby food, prunes. Pretty much just get a syringe and make sure it is at room temperature. Do not get it out of the refrigerator and automatically give it to them. You do have to set it out and make sure it's room temperature before you do give it to them. You just use a syringe and you put a little bit into the syringe. Do not put like a whole syringe full, because that is way too much. And it also basically depends on your reptile's weight. So after you do that, just give them like a day or two, and eventually it will work and they will use the restroom. And if none of this is working and your bearded dragon has still not went to the bathroom, you do actually need to make a vet appointment and get them seen right away, because they can actually treat it there at the vet. Go into talking about all of the vitamins that a bearded dragon needs in their lifetime. They need calcium without D3, and they also need calcium with D3, and they do need a multivitamin. The calcium with D3 should not be used every single day. And even if you do use it, do not give them a whole lot of it, because they do have UVB. So the UVB, and also calcium with D3, if too much, it can actually be more harmful to your bearded dragon. So for everyday feedings, like dusting their salads, dusting their bugs, you do want to use a calcium that has no D3. The multivitamin, you use it about twice a month. You do not use it all the time. You basically just sprinkle it. Once again, you sprinkle it over their food. And so that is pretty much all for their vitamins that I have. Now I'm going to be talking about their diet. A bearded dragon's diet is different from when they are a baby and when they are adult. A baby needs way more protein than an adult bearded dragon. They need at least 80% protein, which is involving all the bugs that you give them, and they can actually have a salad also. Um, the salad can just be like leafy dark green lettuces, like mustard greens, turnip greens, collard greens, bok choy, and it could be a whole lot of other green leaf lettuces. You do not want to use iceberg lettuce or romaine lettuce. The reason for that is because all they are is pretty much water. You do not get no nutritional benefits out of it really at all. Um, so try to avoid those two especially. I have actually tried green leaf lettuce with her, and she did actually eat it, but I do not give her a whole lot of that. And also, you do not want to give a whole lot of spinach or kale because those two are very bad about calcium binding, and you do not want to give them a whole lot of that. So you can give it to them like occasionally, but not all the time, not every day. And for their bugs that they can eat hornworms, superworms, mealworms, crickets, and dubia roaches. The superworms, I would highly recommend not giving superworms to a baby bearded dragon because they are kind of big, and a baby bearded dragon, when you first get them, is only probably about 5 to 6 inches long, and they're very, very small. Do superworms when they get to an adult, like maybe 6, 7 months old. That's when I started giving her superworms. Some bearded dragons really do enjoy superworms, and some bearded dragons prefer like crickets or the dubia roaches. And the hornworms are really good for your bearded dragon if they are rated. Um, a bearded dragon will not drink from water that is just in a bowl. Um, they will not drink it. I have tried like water in her enclosure before, and she will not drink it. So for the water to get them hydrated again, you can do, like I said, the hornworm. You can give them a bath, and you can also use like a spray bottle. This is actually what I use. I use this spray bottle, and I just get it and I just kind of sprinkle like little drops on the tip of her nose. I did actually just do that this morning for her. And she did actually drink quite a bit of water. And as you can see, it's kind of like pulling up under her tail. It's kind of all the way went down her tail. But you do that, and that is another good way to get them hydrated again. And I want to talk about like the decor that you can get for a bearded dragon. As you can see in her enclosure, I have a lot of driftwood. You can buy this like on Amazon, PetSmart, Petco, but it's a whole lot more easier just to basically buy it off of Amazon. You can also get some things for reptiles off of Etsy. You can do that, but I got all of these driftwood. I got all of them from Amazon. And the basking area that you see over here, me and my dad actually made that. So we did make that. And I did just do a lay box for her. I am probably going to have to make it a little bit bigger because she really does not fit in it that properly. So I probably will be doing another lay box for her. 12 months old, I did actually read that female bearded dragons are getting to the breeding stage. So let me open this so you can actually see her a little bit better. But I did actually hear that when they're 12 months old, that they are into the breeding area and they are wanting to breed. So they said that they can start forming eggs around this time. So they said it is best to have like a lay box in their cage. So that's why I put one in there for her. Sure, she has not got eggs in her and she's not forming them. Just to be on the safe side, she can get in that. Um, but she has never been bred. She's never like ever even been around a male. So even if she did lay eggs, they would not be fertile. They would be infertile. Logs, you can use like fake plants. You can use, I mean, you can even use real plants. And if you do like radioactive enclosure, you do need to add the springtails and the isopods in it, because those do actually clean up the waste and all of that. Radioactive, you pretty much just do like loose substrate, and you have to do a drainage layer. If substrate on top of the drainage layer, you add your plants in, you add all your decor and all that, and then you put in the springtails and the isopods. You actually do more research than just this video. For their size, they can actually get from 5 inches to 24 inches long. A male can be bigger and be longer than a female. Females are typically smaller than males, and they can range from 17 to 21 inches long. It just depends on how big they get. As for mine is probably like 19, 20 inches long. So she's probably already full grown. They do say about 18 months is technically when they are fully adults. Mine's only about 12 months and 2 months. So she's about a year and 2 months right now. To talk about their temperatures. Their temperatures for the area need to be anywhere between 100 to 110. Their warm side, which is in the middle of the enclosure, needs to be anywhere between 95 to 80. And their cool side needs to be anywhere between 77 to 78. And their nighttime temperatures, they can actually drop down to like 65, but you do not want it to go down any cooler than that. If your enclosure is that cold at nighttime, you definitely do need some sort of heat. For the heat, you can do, like I said, a ceramic heat emitter. You can do heat panels, and you can also do a heat projector. You can do those. So that is very good if your temperatures are like really, really low at night. But the heat emitter is actually really good. You can actually run it for 24 hours. And you do also want to make sure that your lights cut off at night. Bearded dragons do not need lights for at night. They are basically up during the day, and they're asleep at nighttime. For my lights, I use a timer for my lights, and I will actually show you that. I use just a regular timer. I'll just have to show it to you this way. I use this, and it has the light section right here you plug in for timing, and this is just normal always on. And as you can see, I have got her heat emitter as always on, and I have got all of her other lights pretty much on a timer. So her lights automatically come on in the morning, and they automatically go off at night. You do want to do in the summertime, you can do like a 12 to 14 hour with her lights on and with her lights off. But when it gets around like wintertime, you do want to cut her lights like a little bit less. I'd say probably like 12 hours. But I gradually knocked hers from the summer to the winter to make it a little bit of an easier transition for her. But I do always want to make sure that her heat is okay for her at night. That is all that I have for today's video. And if there's anything that I have possibly missed or any information that you do want me to go over or anything like that, please just let me know in the comment section, and I will try my best to go over it and give you a little bit more information. Um, but if you did like this video, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe to my channel for more of my content. And make sure you turn on your bell for notifications for when I upload. And I will actually talk to you in my next video. All right, bye.